Then on Sports Central, we go over our next team prediction of this offseason, and this could be over the TCU Horned Frogs, the team that went 13-2 overall in the 2022 season. What a season it was for TCU. This is a team that heading into 2022, there were people saying this team was going to struggle to make it to a bowl game, let alone this team made it to the college football playoff and advanced to the national championship. They did lose in the title game to the power of college football right now in Georgia, but truly an outstanding season for TCU. But how this team be in 2023 and whether or not this team returns to contention in the 2023 season is what we'll be talking about here today. We'll be analyzing this team and predict their schedule game by game in this video. Well, let's get started with a quick recap of 2022. Once again, 13-2. What an incredible season for this team. Went undefeated in the regular season. This team was 12-0. heading into the Big 12 title game. And once again, I don't think anyone could have expected, even TCU fans, for this team of all teams to go 12-0 in the regular season. Truly outstanding what this team did. They were dominant from the start. They beat Colorado week 1, 38-13. Beat Tarleton State 59-17 the next week. Beat SMU on the road, and then they had their huge breakthrough game against Oklahoma. Beat them 55-24. Took care of them, no problem. Beat Kansas the next week, 38-31, and what was one of the most unexpected big matchups of the season. Kansas and TCU both with very low expectations heading into the season. Turns out both teams were undefeated heading into that matchup there. The next week came back, beat Oklahoma State in double overtime. Beat K-State 38-28, the eventual Big 12 champion there. Beat West Virginia, beat Texas Tech, a solid team last season. Beat Texas on the road. This one, many were expecting Texas to win, but TCU shut down those doubts and got the win by a touchdown. Beat Baylor the next week, 29-28. That was a close finish as well. And then took care of Iowa State, no problem, in the last game of the regular season, 62-14. So went on to the Big 12 title game once again. And Kansas State, of course, a great team last season. Kansas State really broke through as well, and they did get the win in overtime over TCU, but a very close and tightly contested matchup there. But what truly matters is that you came back in the Fiesta Bowl and beat Michigan 51-45. This is a win that should not be underestimated. Michigan being a team that has emerged as suddenly the top power in the Big Ten, and that is a really, last season they were incredible. So to beat Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl, honestly, I know the national championship didn't go as planned, lost to Georgia 65-7, but the way this team played and fought in that Fiesta Bowl against Michigan was definitely incredible to see. But 13-2, the final record. Once again, an incredible season for TCU. But looking at the roster preview now, as we look forward to 2023 now. So Max Duggan is gone, starting quarterback who truly transformed into one of the great quarterbacks of TCU. You consider back in 2019, he was just terrible in 2019. You think back to some of the talks that people were saying. People were calling him the worst starting quarterback in the Power 5 in 2019. And, you could see why. He was just so inconsistent, turned over the ball so much, very inaccurate. But 2020, he was slightly better. And then 2021, he got even better than that. And 2022, he broke through 3,700 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 picks, and a 64% completion rate. Truly incredible what he was able to do in 2022. So hopefully he's got a bright future in the NFL. He definitely deserves it based on how much he improved in college. But it looks like Chandler Morris is looking to start. He is the next man up. We haven't seen too much out of Chandler Morris. So we'll see what he can do. We saw him a bit in 2021. And he was semi-impressive when he played then. And in 2022, only threw the ball 27 times for the Horned Frogs. So we'll see what he can do. He's the next man up, it looks like. But Kendre Miller is gone. Same with Amari DeMercado. So the backfield does lose your top two running backs in Miller, who put up over 1,500 yards last season, 17 touchdowns. DeMercado put up over 700 yards and 7 touchdowns. So the backfield, you're losing a couple there, which definitely is concerning. The receiving core also loses multiple key players here. Quentin Johnston, Ty Barber, and then Darius Davis, your top 3 wideouts, are all gone as we look forward to 2023. You got Savion Williams coming back, your 4th wideout. So at least you got him coming back, but otherwise this is going to be a total revamp as far as skill players are concerned as we look forward to 2023. But the good thing is you have landed multiple key players from the transfer portal, and also recruiting hasn't been too bad. So that is a good thing. Even though you're losing several key players, especially on the offense, you're bringing in a few to replace their positions. So I mean, the offense is going to look a lot different in 2023. There's no doubt with that, but at least you got some good talent still coming in for this season. You lose 2 on the O-line, 2 on the D-line, 1 linebacker, and then 1 in the secondary. So defensively, this team has got a lot of potential. Looking forward to 2023, the offense is a bit questionable, but I do think there's a lot of potential still on this team. So it brings up the question, can this team return to contention in 2023? Could they once again be a national contender? I mean, it was incredible what Sonny Dykes did in his first season with TCU. I mean, to lead this team to 13-2, a national championship appearance, pretty incredible what he did. So future is definitely bright for TCU. Does this team return to contention in 2023? I do think this will be a good team in 2023. I don't think they'll be quite as good as 2022. Once again, the team is going to look a lot different. I do think this team is going to be talented enough to cause some noise in the Big 12, but I do think they're going to be better teams than TCU this season. I mean, this was a great team that really got it done in close games in 2022. I just don't know. Offensively, this team is going to be so different. It's just tough to really judge right now if this team can get back to that same position. But I do think this will still be a good team. There's a lot of potential here. But your transfer portal and recruiting, Sam Jackson is off to Cal, quarterback. But at least you bring in Chance Nolan, who got some good playing time at Oregon State. So we'll see him competing with Chandler Morris for the starting position. But I do think it's Chandler Morris's job as of right now. Trey Sanders, running back, is coming in from Alabama. So that is going to be good as well. I mentioned Kendra Miller and Demercado both gone, but at least you got Trey Sanders coming in from Alabama. Jordan Hudson is off to SMU. Receiver JoJo Earl is coming in from Alabama. JP Richardson, expect him to have immediate impact. He's coming in from Oklahoma State. And then Jalen Robinson is coming in from Ole Miss. He's currently listed as a wide receiver 2. JoJo Earl is listed as a wide receiver 1. So once again, multiple key players you've landed from the transfer portal for the receiving core that should be immediate impacts in 2023. Jorquarius Spivey, tight end, is off to Mississippi State, so you do lose a tight end there, but at least you still got Jared Wiley coming back. Blair Conwright, receiver, is off to North Texas, and then Quincy Brown is in the transfer portal. So, I mean, this receiving core especially is going to look a lot different in 2023. Multiple departures and also rivals. But on the offensive line, you bring in Willis Patrick and Tommy Brockermeyer from different places. Expect Willis Patrick to have immediate impact. Brockermeyer definitely eventually could as well. Rick Diabreu, defensive lineman, is coming in from East Carolina. You also bring in Tico Brown from Missouri State. Avery Helms coming in from Florida. And you lose Deshaun McQuinn, safety, who is off in the transfer portal. Recruiting-wise, not too bad. 20th in the country, 3rd in the Big 12. And so you consider this, though, as well. This team is 3rd in the Big 12, but your top 2 teams in the Big 12 this season are Texas and Oklahoma, both of which were headed off to the SEC after the season. So as far as the future is concerned, TCU does have the top recruiting class in the country for 2023 in the Big 12 of the future, you could say, which is going to be good for them. You got 8 4-stars coming in, 15 3-stars. Overall recruiting is great. Now I've got this team at an 8 out of 10 on the future forecast meter. Honestly, you could put that at a 9. Once again, I really like Sonny Dykes, and to see what he did in year 1 with this team was incredible. I really think the future is bright for this team. And I mean, this is a team with tremendous talent. Looking forward to 2023. There's a lot of potential here, but there is some uncertainty as well. There's no questioning that either. But with that, let's take a look at the schedule. So you start out the season against Colorado, which is a very intriguing matchup. TCU coming off of an incredible season in 2022. Colorado was just atrocious in 2022, but Colorado has received a lot of attention with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. And I mean, that's a Colorado team that I could see being good in the future, but it's not going to be 2022. That's going to be, I think, a dominant win there by TCU. I can already say that there for week 1, but definitely an intriguing game to start out the season. And then you got Nicholls State week 2, Houston on the road week 3, SMU at home week 4. So you do have one of the Big 12 newcomers in Houston there towards the beginning of the season. Then you got West Virginia home to finish out September, Iowa State on the road, BYU at home, and then Kansas State on the road before your bye. Then you got Texas Tech on the road, Texas at home, Baylor at home, and then Oklahoma on the road to finish out the regular season. So, but looking at September here, Colorado at home, this is a game where I think TCU dominates. Easy win for the Horned Frogs there. I think Colorado's got a bright future, but 2023 is not going to be their year. Just too many changes. That is a team with a lot of uncertainty. looking forward to 2023. So I can beat them, especially in week 1. It's going to be a tough one for them, I can imagine. And then Nichols State week 2, you take care of them. Houston on the road. This is a game where I'm definitely going to favor TCU, but I do think it's a closer game than some might expect. Houston next season is going to fall off a bit. A lot of losses for them as well, heading into their first season in the Big 12. And then SMU take care of them. So you're 4-0 heading into the West Virginia game. Honestly, all 5 of your first games are very winnable. I do see starting out the season 5-0. West Virginia, you beat them in a close one. And then after that, I do think you take a loss to Iowa State. The Cyclones could be decent in 2023. I don't see them being a big standout in the Big 12. I could see them kind of around, I'd say, the 6 to 7 win range. They should be better in 2023 than 2022, but I do think Iowa State gets the win here, them being at home. I think they kind of steal a win off of TCU there. And then BYU, this is, honestly, BYU could be decent in 2023. Could own Slovis. They should be okay. I do think you get a nice win there against BYU on the 14th. And then K-State on the road. It's on the road. I mean, and Kansas State should be playing pretty well at this point. I think Kansas State is definitely one of my favorites for the Big 12 in 2023. They should definitely be back. I do think you lose here to K-State, a close game, but I'm going to favor the Wildcats there. So you're 6-2 heading into November, and November is really a challenging month. You got Texas Tech on the road, which Texas Tech, not a team to underestimate for 2023. I do want to take the Red Raiders there. And then Texas at home, a very winnable matchup. I'm going to take Texas in a close one. Baylor at home, you do get a nice win here. The Baylor Bears could be I'd say a 7-8 win team in 2023, so you get a nice win there, and then you lose to Oklahoma on the road to finish out the regular season. So your second half of the season is brutal. I do think, having to go on the road to K-State, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, all 3 of those really challenging games. Texas at home is winnable. Iowa State on the road is also winnable, but I do think you drop a couple of tough, close games as well. I mean, this is going to be a talented team in 2023, but it's just not the same team that we saw in 2022. I mean, I still think this team can be great in 2023. It's just going to be a much different team. And, I mean, Chandler Morris, it's going to heavily depend on what he can do. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty around him. Can he lead this team to that same level? I just don't know that he can. Max Duggan was incredible last year, so it's going to be tough for him to. He's just got some big shoes to fill. But for the range, I do think the ceiling is 10-2 for this team. The floor is 5-7, a pretty wide range for this team. Honestly, considering this team was 12-0 last season, you could probably put this ceiling at 11-1. But I do think it's a challenging schedule as well. Multiple really tough games on this schedule. I just don't think TCU can win them all. But I do think 7-5 for my prediction. If I were to bet on this, I'd probably say 7-8 wins for the Horned Frogs next season. This team still has potential to be great, but it's just going to be such a different team, and there's a bit of uncertainty there. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts, especially if you're a TCU fan, in the comments. Where do you guys think this team stands as we look forward to 2023? Where does this team get to? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.